From Gimlet, this is Reply All. I'm Alex Goldman.
And I'm PJ Vogt.
Welcome once again to Yes, Yes, No, the segment on the show where our boss, Alex Blumberg, comes to us with internet ephemera that he can't make heads or tails of, and then we try to explain it to him. And then he just feels a deep sense of regret for ever having come to us in the first place. Hi, Alex.
Hi. I have a tweet.
Wow, you really know the form of this segment very well. We're back.
I'm back, yes. Okay, so should I just dive right in?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's see what you got.
Okay. The Twitter account is named Manusi in the Sky, from the guy whose Twitter handle is Manuclear Bomb. All right, and so this is the tweet. Ready? The caption is, "Love that I can just slide this guy's whole thread into the meme." And then there's a picture. And the picture is, oh, God. All right, it's two pictures side by side. And the right side is like basically it's a series of, you know, when you go to like a photo booth and you get like four pictures on top of each other, it's like that, except it's like different pictures of sort of, I guess, skull heads. But with the brains inside sort of exposed. So the top picture is a skull with a sort of a smaller brain inside. And then the next picture, the one below it, is another sort of skull head, although it's got more human features. And it's got a bigger sort of sparkly brain with like stars and stuff coming out of it. And then the picture below that, the brain is even sparklier and shining. And then the last picture is of this head where the brain is just sort of like sending out these radiant beams. If you needed a picture of like, my mind is blown, that would be the picture. And then on the other side is a screenshot of a Twitter thread that is 4 tweets long. And each tweet is aligned with a picture.
With one of the brain photos.
With one of the brain photos. And the tweets are from a guy named James Damore. And tweet number 1 is, "The KKK is horrible, and I don't support them in any way. But can we admit that their internal title names are cool, e.g. Grand Wizard?" And then there's like a poll. There's a Twitter poll. Yes, no, the names aren't cool. No, that's racist. No, other. Okay. And then his next tweet. "You know you've moralized an issue when you can't criticize its heroes or acknowledge any positive aspect of its villains." Next tweet, next to an even sparklier brain. "It's like teaching your child to be responsible about drugs and sex without addressing the fact that they can be fun." And then final tweet next to the exploding, enlightening, blow your mind brain, James Damore. "If you make the actual KKK the only place where you can acknowledge the coolness of D&D terms, then you'll just push people into the KKK."
Hearing it read out loud is mind-blowing. Okay. PJ Vogt, do you understand this tweet?
Yes. Alex Goldman, do you understand this tweet?
I do. Alex Blumberg, do you understand this tweet? I'm going to take your pause as a no.
No, but?
No, but I think I understand it directionally.
Okay.
I have seen this meme. Like, I've seen the skeleton into the head, into the brighter brain head, into the brightest brain head, which I'm assuming is sort of like
Brain head.
which I'm assuming is like the meme of like where you walk somebody through an argument that then by the end of which it's so mind-blowing that their brain explodes.
Yes, that is completely true.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So that's what that meme is supposed to represent.
Yes.
And this meme is typically used ironically, like to make fun of people. So the more enlightened the brain is, the more light is emanating from it. Generally, the stupider the opinion.
Got it.
And I'm pretty sure that the first iteration of this was from earlier this year. And the top panel said who. The second panel said whom. The third panel said whomst. And the fourth panel said whomsted.
Okay.
So that's like a thing that people have been doing all year. And like it's one of those memes that has a lot of legs because it's like it's such an open forum that like anything you put into it is going to feel satisfying. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
it's very
right.
flexible.
Yes. All right. So I understand the exploding brain meme. But I still don't understand what the other part is. Like, what's this, all these, the tweets about the KKK? Like, how do they fit together?
This is where it gets somewhat complicated.
Okay.
So in early August, Google, the company, has like some sort of internal message board system.
Oh, I know about this.
Okay, so you know about this. So
The
what do you
guy
know?
who wrote so there was a guy who wrote a thing about, and now I don't even remember what the argument he was making. He was making some argument about like, oh, like diversity and women and engineers and sort of like we should all just acknowledge that like men are better coders or something.
That was basically it. It was this guy, James Damore, 28 years old, engineer at Google, had to go to some sort of diversity workshop, which apparently he didn't like. In August, he wrote a 10-page, it's been called a screed and a manifesto, but he wrote a 10-page memo called Google's Ideological Echo Chamber.
Oh, James Damore was the guy who wrote that.
Yes.
Oh.
And he's basically saying, like, what Google believes is that not enough women work at Google. And they think this should be this, like, egalitarian society where it's, like, 50-50. And they're doing basically discrimination in trying to get women on board, whether or not they're, like, the best suited person for the job.
Discriminating against white men.
Discriminating against whoever is best for the job. And so, like, it's weird. He's all over the place. It feels very, like, pseudo-intellectual. At one point, he says, like, you know, we think women aren't in leadership positions because of sexism, but if you look at women biologically, they are more likely to be neurotic and have high anxiety. And so maybe they avoid high-status roles because they don't have the stress tolerance for high-stress jobs.
Women are more likely to be neurotic.
This is according to like something that he read. But when you literally click on the link for neurotic, it goes to the Wikipedia page for neuroticism.
So he's fudging his citations.
In some cases, he cites like studies. Some of the studies authors have actually come out and said like, we don't mean what he says we mean, or like some of the studies are very questionable. It's like, it's just like a mess. It's not like a manifesto where he's like, men are good, women are bad. He's like, I'm a reasonable intellectual approaching this problem.
I'm just asking questions here.
And there's parts where he has like fixes that are not just like women shouldn't work here. Like maybe work-life balance is wrong or something. But like the thing people took away was he's a person who's saying like gender stereotypes are real, rooted in biology. Diversity is going too far.
Got it.
So he posts a memo.
Right.
He's fired. And becomes like basically a celebrity for certain parts of like the right. And they're kind of like this is not what he was necessarily saying about himself, but for them it's like he's like this perfect symbol of like the qualified, brilliant, genius coder who's the best person for the job, whatever his race and gender happen to be, who said one reasonable thing and like got fired because of political correctness.
Because of the intolerant left, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's these really weird interviews. Like he went on Tucker Carlson and like he's not quite playing the role he's supposed to do. Like Tucker Carlson's like, didn't they shut you up? Like, isn't this messed up? And then he's just like, he's like a little too mild-mannered. He like doesn't say enough words for it to work. Like, hold on. Can I plug in aux?
Did anyone at Google, before firing you, bother to respond to any of the points that you made? Or did they just say you're being punished for asking questions?
Yeah, when I shared it with individual Googlers, they actually had an actual reasoned discussion with me, but only when it became viral did this huge emotional outrage happen.
So, I mean, of all...
Like he never says enough. Like they're always waiting for him to say more things that are like more explicitly bad, but do you know what I mean?
I've never actually felt like camaraderie with Tucker Carlson before, but in that moment where you just got like, you got a tough interview.
Yes.
And they're not saying enough. And you're just sort of like, I'm teeing this up for you, pal. Why are you stopping there?
That like 3-second pause happens in every single, because he's not quite an ideologue. You know what I mean? He's like he's like a not very thoughtful provocateur who's like really stepped into a culture war.
Right.
But the people who were like, yes, proof, PC too far, men should be coders, they loved him. And I think he like loved being loved by them. So there was this like love affair.
Right.
But then what happened over the course of the next month is like a series of things that suggested that kind of like interfere with the idea that he was the most qualified person in the world fighting the PC tyrants. So like it turned out like he had kind of like this guy who was saying like we shouldn't like lower the bar and like let somebody who's not quite good enough like into Google. It turned out like he had kind of done that for himself like a little bit. Like he was a smart guy. He went to Harvard. He got a master's. On the internet, he was claiming that he'd gone to Harvard and got a PhD. Just like a little bit of rounding up, not generally what you do if you think like the world's a meritocracy.
Uh-huh.
And then there was this really embarrassing thing where he had a tweet where he screen grabbed himself searching James Damore is on Google. And the suggestions, like the autofill and suggestions were like, a hero, right, the smartest. And he presented it and he was like, there's a silent majority of people who agree with me and you should listen to them. And like, even I know, and a lot of people know that like different people get different Google search results. And like, he works at Google. Like, this is not proof of anything. Like, people were sending him screen grabs of them putting his name and getting different stuff. It was just like really silly. And then like most recently, like the sort of like final nail, it felt like, was last week out of nowhere. He just sort of is like, and goes on Twitter and he's like, makes this argument, which is basically, can we all admit that while the KKK is racist, Grand Wizard is like a really cool name for a thing? And people.
So wait, he actually said this?
Yeah,
he
this isn't
actually
made
said
up.
this. And it was the first thing I think that he said. There's this concept on Twitter of the ratio, which is when you look at the responses to a tweet and the reply. So they give you three numbers. It's like the replies, the favorites, and the retweets. And like favorites and retweets are both signs that someone agreed with you. The replies usually are signs that someone didn't agree with you.
Yeah.
So if people get 1,000 replies and 15 retweets, they just got, it's used as a verb. They got ratioed. That disparity between replies and retweets generally means that people are really, really annihilating this person.
And it was just like a series of ratio tweets, like all replies, very few retweets, very few favorites. And as he goes, like the ratio gets worse.
Got it.
It's just like watching a group full of people stop supporting somebody as they dig into their argument.
Well, he also went there very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah, it
Like he
hasn't
just
taken
went
much time.
like you just went from like, you can like throw a lot of dust up and you can just be like, I'm not sexist. I'm just trying to like get to the truth, you know, or like there are biological differences between men and women, right? And you can stay in that dust cloud forever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He
Like you
did
could
it
just
for
be like,
weeks.
I'm not like, why is everybody treating me like I'm a bigot?
I'm just asking
obviously not a
questions.
bigot. I'm just asking questions. Like, but then he just went on Twitter and was like, the KKK's got some cool things. It's just sort of like, well, you just left the dust cloud, buddy. You just like,
Right.
you went way far away from where you were. And like, yeah.
And I think as somebody who like did disagree with his original argument and was sort of frustrated at the idea of trying to clear the dust to argue with people,
Yeah.
there is something. I think what this joke is actually celebrating is like how far out of the dust cloud he got.
It's
You know what I mean?
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Alex Blumberg, are you ready to explain this tweet back to us?
I am. Okay. So to review, we've got this 4-tweet Twitter thread and we've got a 4-panel exploding brain meme. And a nuclear bomb lined up those two things next to each other. And what's pleasurable about the tweet and what led everybody on the internet to retweet it and like it is that both the Twitter thread and the exploding brain meme follow the exact same structure. First of all, there are 4 parts to them. They start with like a stupid idea, but like not exquisitely grandly stupid. And then they get both more ridiculous and more pompous as they march forward until by the end, the 4th panel, you've gotten to a level that is that makes your head explode.
Yeah, I think we're yes. And where would you say on the expanding brain meme am I?
Where at being at yes.
Which
no,
brain?
I mean, which brain am I?
You mean like right in your life, throughout your life?
Yes.
I feel like you're handing me a ball and a T-ball set and a bat, and it feels like weird even hitting the ball.
I know.
You're like, okay, before we get out of here, do you think I'm dumb?
Before we get out of here, PJ, can you be mean to me?
Coming up after the break, Yes, Yes, No goes where Yes, Yes, No has never gone before.
This episode of Reply All is brought to you by Cloudflare Apps. So let's talk about life before you could install apps on your phone. Like back when you couldn't use your phone to play video games or order food or listen to music. Your phone wasn't that big a part of your day-to-day because it didn't actually do that much for you. Now we have all kinds of apps on our phones that make life much, much easier. But you probably don't know that you can do the same thing with your website. With Cloudflare Apps, you can access hundreds of free website apps that you can install in seconds. Powerful plugins like interactive backgrounds or those customer assistance chatbots. You can use Cloudflare apps to show the local weather, embed a map, or add share buttons for social media, the kind of features that you usually have to hire a developer to install. Cloudflare apps let you preview their apps on your site, and then if you find one you like, install it with just one click. Cloudflare apps can also help you generate sales leads, sell more stuff, and just generally make it easier for customers to find you. To learn more and sign up for free, visit cloudflare.com/apps. That's CLOUDFLARE.com/apps. This episode of Reply All is brought to you by Spotify. Okay, so you probably already know Spotify, the streaming music app that has millions of songs. But you might not know that Spotify also has podcasts now, including Reply All. Which is great news because it means you can spend less time switching between your music app and your podcast app and more time just listening. And with Spotify, sharing your favorite podcasts is as easy as sending someone a new song. Like, if you have one of those friends who's like, oh, I don't know how to get started with podcasts, they have no excuse anymore. You just send them a link, and when they click it, the podcast starts playing directly in Spotify. If you want to get every new episode of Reply All automatically delivered right to your Spotify library, all you have to do is click on the podcast section on the Spotify mobile app or search for Reply All. And once you find us, just click follow. Head to spotify.com/podcasts to learn more. That's spotify.com/podcasts.
Welcome back to Yes, Yes, Now. Alex, do you have any others?
I have one for you.
You have one for me?
That's right. The tables are turning.
Wait, you have a tweet that you understand that we won't understand?
Yes.
What?
I'm going to try it.
It feels like all kinds of unfair.
All right. So this is the first time I've ever done this. This is really exciting. Okay. You guys, are you ready?
Yeah, okay.
Who's going to read it? You're going to read it, Alex Goldman?
I will read it.
Okay.
So this is a tweet from Lake Show Yo, trademark, at Lake Show Yo. And they're quote tweeting someone named Coops, GM Coops. And it says, "This is the best tweet of all time. That'll teach Inez Cantor to stop talking so much shit." So that's what GM Coops says. And Lake Show Yo says, "KD, is that you?"
I'm so excited to be saying these words. Alex Goldman, do you understand this tweet?
Not at all.
PJ Vogt, do you understand this tweet?
Oh, absolutely. It's, no.
You couldn't even, you bailed on that so quick.
I'll tell you what the tweet is. I'll explain it for you. It's sports thing. Elementary.
I assume that a lake show is some kind of synchronized swimming.
No, KD
Ethel
is
Merman.
Kevin Durant, famous
There you
sportsman.
go. There you
of
go.
Basketball.
How are you supposed to know that that's not Katie Lang?
You know.
All right, do your thing.
Wait, you have to ask me.
Alex Blumberg, do you understand this tweet?
I do. All right. So tell me all the things you don't know about this.
I don't know who Inez Cantor is. I know the name Kevin Durant. I don't know what the Lake Show Yo is. I don't know who GM Coops is. I know what a best tweet of all time is, and I know what talking shit is.
Okay. All right. So this isn't the best tweet of all time.
It does have 173 retweets, 366 likes, which is a lot of engagement for something that makes no sense to me.
Right. So I think I want to tell you a story because I'm curious if it will actually make you interested in sports.
Okay.
That is a tall order.
What was done to you in your youth that makes you?
Well, I wasn't athletic. I know that comes as a shock.
I don't know if this happened to you, but I was in a bullying environment where people would they would use that word. They'd be like, "You're not even athletic," like constantly.
Oh, really? They would literally say that.
They wouldn't say like you're a nerd or whatever. They'd be like, "You're not an athlete. You don't look athletic."
That's harsh.
Wow. It's
Also,
like-
wait, can I tell you one more sports trauma story?
Sure.
So literally, like one of the low points of my junior high life was that my dad made me play football for like traditional dad reasons. And they never put me in, which was totally reasonable. And I was also always late to practice because I couldn't figure out the pad situation. Like it's a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
And then they finally, for some reason, put me in a game. And I had so little understanding of football and so much shyness and fear of football that I apparently didn't tell the person I'd been swapped in for to leave the field.
Uh-huh.
So we got a penalty for too many men on the field. So my whole team was so mad at me. And it wasn't like you're a nerd, you're whatever. It was like, you don't have enough understanding of sports to be on a sports team. And so I vowed to never learn.
I
You
could.
actually played on the football team. That is
Yeah.
shocking. To
I
me.
have like the exact same story.
Really?
Yeah, I know this sounds ridiculous. I played basketball for the rec department in 7th and 8th grade. And I didn't realize that there was like a 2-second rule where you couldn't be in the paint for more than 2 seconds. And like, I didn't understand it for an extended period of time. So I would always, whenever we were on offense, I would get us penalized and the ball would go away.
And you never knew.
That's
why.
what they would say. They'd say the ball's going away.
And I didn't really understand why. And the coach kept trying to explain it to me, but like eventually I got it. But I was still absent-minded enough that it happened a lot.
Okay, so what fresh drama is this?
No, okay. So maybe this won't make you interested. Maybe it
no.
will make you happy because it will the sports people who traumatize you are having drama.
Okay.
So backstory: Enes Kanter.
Okay.
He's the center for the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's a basketball team.
Thank you.
Professional level.
Professional basketball team, and they are a tiny team. Oklahoma City is a small market team, but for a long time they had two of the best players in basketball. They had this guy Russell Westbrook, and they had another fellow who you've mentioned by name. They had Kevin Durant.
Got it.
And Russell Westbrook is like, he looks literally like a human form of Superman. And then there's Kevin Durant. He is basically the closest to an unstoppable player I've seen since Michael Jordan. Like, he's just like, he can shoot from anywhere, and he's really tall, and he's really fast. And it's this really rare combination of things where like nobody in basketball, in the history of basketball, has ever been like him. And so Oklahoma City, this tiny team that had no hope of ever being really good, all of a sudden had this incredible, they were in a great position. So for 4 or 5 years, they were making the finals or almost the finals, or they were right up there. And that a couple times they went to the finals and they lost. And so they were always right on the verge of winning a championship.
Which is awesome.
So this was Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, both played for Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And Enes Kanter was the center. Then, do you know what happened with Kevin Durant?
No.
You don't know what happened with Kevin Durant?
No. Is this like...
Everybody knows what happened to Kevin Durant.
Let me guess.
Name one basketball team that you know, though. One basketball player that you know.
Michael Jordan.
No, present, current.
Larry Bird.
Current.
You know Larry
LeBron
Bird.
James.
Come on. LeBron James. Next one.
Oh, Steph Curry.
There you go. Steph Curry.
He's a huge Steph Curry fan because he does funny things on the internet.
Right. So Steph Curry, aside from doing funny things on the internet, Steph Curry plays on the Golden State Warriors. So Oklahoma City, new team, small market, middle of the country, scrappy underdog. Golden State, owned by some venture capitalists, full coastal elite,
It's like
just
the
sort
rich
of
kid's toy.
and they won. So 3 seasons ago, they won the championship. 2 seasons ago, they went to the finals after beating Oklahoma City in the semifinals in this super dramatic sort of 7-game series. And that earned them the right to play Cleveland in the finals. And then they lost to Cleveland. So they've already vanquished Oklahoma City. And then they lose to Cleveland. And so they're just we just need one more piece to beat Cleveland. And then they start recruiting Kevin Durant to come to Golden State.
That's ugly. That's really ugly.
Right. So already Golden State is the most stacked team out there.
But then they're going to the underdogs whose butt they kicked and being like, why don't we take your best guy too?
But they barely kicked. They just eked past them, and they're saying to him, "Hey, Kevin Durant, come play with us."
And you don't want to live in the world where he says yes.
But he said yes.
Right. Because there's lots of money and he wants to win.
And he wants to win. And he wants to, and obviously he's going to say yes because he's a highly paid professional and they're the best team, and he can go to that team and then they can be a dynasty forever.
But it still makes you sad.
So it still makes you sad. Right. So everybody on the internet turned against him.
Against Kevin Durant.
Against Kevin Durant. This is so fun telling you the story. Everybody on the internet turned against Kevin Durant.
Poor guy. I understand why he did it. I understand why everybody's like, screw you.
And they started calling him Cupcake.
Why Cupcake?
I don't know.
That's
I
what
don't
they
know the
called
Cupcake.
me.
Oh, really?
Yes. me and my friend Mike Bolds when we were forced to do track and field or javelin throw, we're called peaches and cupcake.
That is mean. Why would they do that?
Because we didn't like throwing the javelin or pushing the shot put, and we got tired easily, so we were peaches and cupcake.
It is probably also literally the only thing that you have in common with Kevin Durant. Anyway, so then he goes to Golden State, and they win. They won the whole
championship.
national championship. This year, they won the national championship.
Which is like, yeah, when you buy all the good players, you get to win.
Yeah. And so there's like a Yankees vibe to them now. And
Yeah.
like everybody's mad at Kevin Durant for going there. And one of the people who was most outraged about it was this guy, Enes Kanter.
The
who's
old
been
center.
The old center who's been tweeting all the time about like how Kevin Durant is like a traitor and this team is like a family. Like you shouldn't have done this thing.
Yeah. Okay, but so like, if you go back to the original tweet, it's somebody saying, KD, Kevin Durant, is that you? In response to somebody saying, this is the best tweet of all time, that'll teach Enes Kanter to stop talking so much shit. I still don't understand that tweet.
All right. So that goes back to this one thing that happened like a week and a half ago. A week and a half ago, someone goes on Twitter and tweets at Kevin Durant, why did you leave Oklahoma City? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Kevin Durant goes on Twitter and responds, but he responds in the third person.
Like Kevin Durant
No,
left.
I will read it to what he says. He says, he didn't like the organization or playing for Billy Donovan, the coach. His roster wasn't that good. It was just him and Russell Westbrook.
Other basketball
Other
player.
basketball player. And then he wrote again, imagine taking Russ off that team, see how bad they were. KD can't win a championship with those cats, referring to the rest of the team. Right? So it's like so everybody on Twitter is like, oh my God, he has a ghost account.
Yeah.
He wrote
And he
from the wrong
thought he
account.
was
He wrote from the wrong
he thought he was
account.
writing from his ghost account when he was really writing from
Oh,
his
man.
real account.
It's called an alt. Like
Yeah.
clearly somewhere out there he has an alt.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like at that point everybody knows that somewhere out there there's a
There's Kevin Durant is posing as somebody else on the internet to every once in a while say things in favor of Kevin Durant. And nobody has proved this, I don't think, that like nobody has uncovered like what is who out there on Twitter is like the
Secretly
secret
Kevin Durant.
secretly Kevin Durant.
This is such an internet story.
Right.
Oh, what human foibles.
So he denies that he had a ghost account, but he published this big mea culpa where he was like, that was a really stupid thing I did. I don't know what I was doing. But the explanation never really.
he has a ghost account.
Yeah,
he was lying. Definitely has a
it
ghost
was not
account.
convincing. It didn't address the specific question of like, but wait, why did you keep referring to yourself in the third person?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then Enes Kanter,
The center.
he's pissed and he tweets, we win, we lose, but the most important thing, we stick together because we are one.
Referring to Oklahoma City.
Referring to Oklahoma City and being like, yeah, you suck and we're together. Solidarity. So guess what happened to Enes Kanter?
What?
The Oklahoma City Thunder traded him.
Oh. So he's like, we're a family. How dare you leave?
Family. This isn't a business. This is about family. And then they trade him.
Oh. Okay. I think I can now explain this. Can I go back to the original tweet?
This is so exciting.
So the original tweet that we saw was this user named Lake Show Yo saying, KD, is that you? And they were quoting somebody saying, this is the best tweet of all time. That'll teach Enes Kanter to stop talking so much shit. What I didn't even realize then is like they're actually both talking about this tweet that just says, that is also from Lake Show Yo, where he says, Enes Kanter spent all summer bashing KD and preaching nonstop on how OKC is loyal and that he considers the team family, ... They traded his ass.
Skull emoji.
Skull emoji. So what I now know happened is that the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is like a small team that normally would not win, lucked into two of the best players in basketball. Everybody rooted for them really hard, but one of those players, Kevin Durant, left to go play for like the traditional big team.
Also, the rival team.
The traditional big rival team. And then when someone asked Kevin Durant on Twitter why he did that, he responded in a weird third-person tweet that made people assume that he's other times going online pretending to be someone else who just defends Kevin Durant anonymously. One of his former teammates, Enes Kanter, was mad about that, understandably. And after he made a big show about how teams are real and family, etc., he then got traded.
Right.
And so in the world of this tweet, someone is making fun of Enes Kanter, and someone's making the joke that the person making fun of Enes Kanter could just be a Kevin Durant secret account. Are we at sports?
Sports. Reply All is hosted by PJ Vogt and me, Alex Goldman. The show's produced by Shruti Pinamaneni, Fia Benin, Damiano Marchetti, and Austin Mitchell. Our editor is Tim Howard. Our intern is Anna Foley. We were mixed by Rick Kwan. Also, Reply All is hiring right now. We're looking for an editor. If you're interested in applying and you have long-form audio experience, you can apply at gimletmedia.com/careers. Matt Lieber is getting back on your bike after you haven't ridden it in a really long time. Our theme song is by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder, and our ad music is by Bill Buildings. Our website is replyall.ninja. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsor, Cloudflare Apps. Cloudflare Apps can help your website generate sales leads, sell more stuff, and just generally make it easier for potential customers to find you. To learn more, visit cloudflare.com/apps. That's CLOUDFLARE.com/apps. Thanks to our sponsor, Spotify. Listen to all your favorite podcasts, including Reply All, on Spotify by heading to spotify.com/podcasts. That's spotify.com/podcasts.
Just play anything. Get us off Monster Planet. Seriously? Keep running. I think it's working. I never saw Superman 2. Maybe we can spin time forward. Hey, what if we run the other direction? Is the ground spinning backwards really fast? Can you understand me? What is this place?